By the way, for those of y'all who are watching at home, we're chilling in Love's beautiful house. So we're real comfortable and we're chilling. Just wanted to throw that out there real quick. This is a beautiful space. I have a new trifecta, and I want to throw this out to you real quick. You're going to be the very first person who I ever try this on. So we're going to see how this works. Okay. So I want you to take your CDs, and for each one, I want you to explain to me what historic moment each of those CDs would be. Like, let's see how I can better put this. You could take one CD and maybe you could say it is the March on Washington. Or you could say that one of your CDs was the assassination of Malcolm X, or something of that nature. So, if you need to think of it for a minute, you can think of it. And then just let me know, name off a CD, name off your first CD, and then let us know what place and time do you believe that CD is.
Love's Journey It Begins, I think, would be like the day Ella Baker decided to like part from the NAACP and form SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
And what would be your reason for saying that?
When I studied Black history and I learned about her, and I learned about the fact that she didn't just want to be a field officer working for an organization that didn't really empower the people that worked for them at the time, and wanted to start something wherein each student, each young person that came to her could and teach them what they need to do to start their own organization, that their own branch of the organization wherever they went. And this is each and every one of them, not just a few.
Right.
That moment where she decided that that's the way you organize and that's the way you move. And for me, putting together It Begins, which was my first album, was me figuring out how to organize and how to move, and it was as the beginning of a movement.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It began.
And even though at the time I didn't really know what it was going to really do, and I'm sure she didn't realize it either. Stokely Carmichael was the president of SNCC.
Right.
He moved on to be a major voice in the movement.
I was about to say that.
And be a Panther, and you know, as he aged, you know, and so her influence on these young people has rippled far beyond, I'm sure, what she thought was going to happen.
Right.
You know, so I think of that for It Begins.
Okay.
Love's Journey, Middle Passage, I think, wow. I think it's like, just that, the Middle Passage. You know, conceptually, it was, I likened, I actually have a piece called, I believe it's called Middle Passage. I say, some say they've never heard of the life lessons learned by a young black Miss made synonymous with the Middle Passage, but from my experience, I would be remiss if I did not give access into the second phase of my existence. See, I entered into womanhood with friendly fire and familiar resistance. They told me not to fight too hard to release myself from adolescent bondage, so the American in me hollered, let freedom ring. And my inner African, well, my inner African said, give us free, but all of her back was silence. So I'm kind of, like I am likening the idea of the forced transition from being a child to being a woman, and to the forced transition of being a free African to being, you know what I'm saying, like a slave, because it's a forced transition to becoming something completely different that you might not necessarily want to do, but you've got to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's no stopping. You have to grow from a child to a woman. And I didn't necessarily want to do that.
Right.
You know, I definitely wanted to remain a kid.
Right.
I saw nothing I saw nothing like fun about adulthood.
Okay.
You know, seeing the adults around me going through what they went through, you know what I mean? I was just kind of like, I don't want to pay bills.
Right.
How am I going to afford an apartment?
Right.
Or a house or a car? This stuff looks like it's expensive.
Right.
I'd rather not. Can I just play? So, you know, talking about that, trying to release myself from adolescent bondage, all that stuff, like just the parent, just with everybody, the resistance that parents and family and stuff gives you. So like that was the idea of the middle passage of saying, hey, I'm getting through this point in my life where I'm now in my early 20s, and I have to put up or shut up, right, basically. So that's the middle passage concept. And the chrysalis. The chrysalis, I think, is like when they built the Sphinx.
Wow. I can say I didn't see you going in that direction. Okay, I'm intrigued. Wow.
That's the first thing that popped into my mind, just because I feel like that was such a I don't know why they built the Sphinx. I mean, I'm sure it was a tribute to the pharaoh. But I know that it was such a powerful tribute that somebody felt the need to blow the nose off of it. You know what I mean? It was such a powerful, image. It was such a powerful artwork. You know what I'm saying? It was just like they put blood, sweat, and tears and everything, whatever, into that, or building the pyramids, or any of those great structures that are still standing today. Just because you have to think about what it took to do that. And then how people trying to trivialize it now at this point and say, oh, the Africans were this, they were that, but they were brilliant. Right. They were, and Egypt is in Africa.
Right. Right.
And there are Africans, black people, who did these wonderful things. Brief history lesson.
Sound like she got into many an argument with people.
No, I mean, it's ridiculous. I work with young people, and I worked at a group home, and we took these young girls to the Great Blacks and Whites Museum up North Avenue, and they walk into the Kings and Queens exhibit and say, I didn't know that the pharaohs and the kings and queens were black. North Africa or not, it's Africa, number one. And Egypt at this point in time is the Arab Republic of Egypt. Look it up. They're not hiding anything from you. They're very clear that it's occupied. It is the Arab Republic of Egypt. That is not original Egyptian. I might cause some problems.
It's Escape the Matrix.
Escape the Matrix. Escape it. Google it.
Google it. Google yourself out the Matrix.
It's that simple. Get out the camera now, but I'm going to talk directly to the people. But yes, back to the the whole idea of building just these massive structures, and what it took, and the time, and building, and in this project, in the Chrysalis, the rebirth of Michelle Antoinette, it definitely was a project that I had my hands completely in when it comes to the music, and to just to say so how the song's gonna be, and how I want the sound of my voice to come off. I was very into the whole project. Wherein before it was kind of like I just took the word of the producer, or how do I do this? I was learning a lot at the time. But this time I applied a lot of stuff that I learned, still learning. Right. And forging relationships that are very good relationships, and that's what, moving forward to this next album, is going to be we're gonna really go in, because we're comfortable now. So but yeah, that's what I think the projects.
Okay.